Oh, the humanity. These words were used to describe the downing of the Hindenburg airship in New Jersey on May 6, 1937. And this event marked the beginning of the end of airship travel.
Sails over New York. These pictures, made from a Pathé News plane less than 4 hours before the tragedy, show the world's largest airship heading for Lakehurst, New Jersey. Over Newark's famous auto skyway, the airship was hailed by thousands who little dreamed it was their final glimpse of the Hindenburg.
In the early 1900s, rigid airships, also known as dirigibles or zeppelins, were hailed as the transportation method of the future. The skies were dominated by airships, the most famous of which was the Hindenburg LZ 129. The Hindenburg was a 245-meter-long conventional zeppelin that had a maximum speed of 135 kilometers per hour and a cruising speed of 126 kilometers per hour. In 1936, the Hindenburg inaugurated commercial air service across the North Atlantic by carrying over 1,000 passengers on 10 scheduled round trips between Germany and the United States. Though it was designed to be filled with helium gas, the airship was filled with highly flammable hydrogen instead. This was due to the fact that the U.S. held a monopoly on helium reserves and had restricted export of the element to Nazi Germany. Airships were designed to accommodate hundreds of passengers who could enjoy onboard facilities such as a bar, dining areas, and even a smoking lounge. In order to meet the ship's weight requirement, all of the furnishings were made as light as possible. Even cabin beds were made of aluminum. A lightweight baby grand piano had been created for the vessel, although it was not on board during the Hindenburg's last voyage. For its 63rd flight, the ship left the Frankfurt airfield at 7:16 p.m. and flew over Cologne before crossing the Netherlands, the English Channel, and out over the Atlantic before reaching the United States. On May 6, 1937, headwinds delayed the airship's journey, and its scheduled arrival in Lakehurst, New Jersey at 6 a.m. was postponed to 6 p.m. In the meantime, the captain decided to take the passengers on a scenic tour. By noon, the ship had reached Boston, and by 3 p.m., the Hindenburg was sailing past the skyscrapers of Manhattan. Reports said the large vessel flying past the city created such a sight that people ran out into the streets to see it. When the aircraft was finally cleared to land, it returned to Lakehurst, approaching the field shortly after 7 p.m. at an altitude of approximately 600 feet. The captain initiated a wide left turn to fly in a descending pattern around the north and west of the field so as to line up for a landing into the wind to the east. During the landing, hydrogen was valved and 3 drops of water ballast were ordered in an attempt to keep the ship in level trim. When these efforts failed to level the vessel, 6 crewmen were ordered to go forward in the ship to add their weight to the bow. The vessel was set to make a high-altitude landing, which meant dropping an anchor from a greater height than it normally would be. This required fewer ground crew members, but the process would take longer. In an attempt to land quickly, the captain reportedly executed a tight S-turn to change the direction of the ship's landing. This was when things went wrong. Some experts later theorized that this sharp turn overstressed the ship, causing a bracing wire to snap and slash a gas cell. This allowed hydrogen to mix with air to form a highly explosive combination. Witnesses claim they saw a flutter on top of the airship, which indicated gas leaking from the vessel. A fire soon broke out, although accounts of where it started varied. The flames reportedly quickly burned through the logo on the side of the ship before consuming the rest of the vessel. Journalist Herbert Morrison was at the scene doing a recorded radio segment, and his horrified account of the event became one of the most famous pieces of broadcast in American history.
It's starting to rain again. The rain had slacked up a little bit. The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... It burst into flames. Get it started, get it started. It's fighting, and it's crashing. It's crashing terrible. Oh, my, get out of the way, please. It's bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast, and all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's like 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the furniture screaming around it. I told you, I can't even talk to people. There's friends around there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it's just laying there, massive smoking wreckage. And everybody can't hardly breathe and talk and screaming. Lady, I'm sorry. Honestly, I can hardly breathe. I'm going to step inside while I cannot see it. Charlie, that's terrible. Listen, folks, I'm going to have to stop for a minute because I've lost the voice. This is the worst thing I've ever witnessed.
In the end, 36 people died, but a remarkable number of people survived. The owner of the Hindenburg initially suspected someone had damaged the ship in an act of anti-Nazi sabotage. However, experts later theorized that a difference in electric potential between the ship and the surrounding air most likely caused a spark, which led to the fire. Faith in the industry plummeted following the Hindenburg disaster. The event was captured in numerous photographs and in footage, which was broadcast across the globe. The airship industry never recovered. However, dirigibles were losing public favor even prior to the Hindenburg's downing. 3 months before the Hindenburg first took flight, Pan American Airways M130 China Clipper made its first scheduled flight across the Pacific. Between the high cost of infrastructure and crew, safety issues, and competition with better technology, passenger airships may have been on their way out even before the Hindenburg disaster took place.